Coming up on today's San Francisco 49ers report, are the Atlanta Falcons interested in a Trey Lance trade? Also, Quinnen Williams, really good defensive tackle for the New York Jets, getting the bag today. I'm going to explain how that could impact a future Nick Bosa contract extension, which figures to be done over the next couple of weeks. It's the 49ers report by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr., and the show starts now. And today's 49ers report would not be possible if it wasn't for our friends at Manscaped. A great deal for the faithful, 20% off and free shipping on the best men's grooming products. Join the 8 million men who have put their trust in Manscaped at manscaped.com/49ers. Promo code 49ers for that deal to apply. We'll talk about Bosa on today's show. 18.5 sacks last year. Clean up your sack with Manscaped. Let's start here with the latest around Trey Lance. Internet rumors and an internet report that the Atlanta Falcons called the San Francisco 49ers about the availability of the 49ers quarterback selected number 3 in the 2021 NFL Draft. Friend of the show, Wayne Breezy, tweeting this out the other day. He's also a Niners content creator. Head over there, subscribe to the channel. Always trying to pump people up who also do what I do because, hey, we're all family at the end of the day. And he tweeted this out yesterday. Rumor has it that the Falcons have reached out to the Niners about the availability of quarterback Trey Lance on Monday, per that Twitter account there. Now, I don't think there's really much substance to this report. In fact, it really doesn't make sense for the Atlanta Falcons to be interested in a Lance trade. They might make sense as a Lance destination at some point, but not right now. They're trying to figure out if Desmond Ridder, the former quarterback out of Cincinnati who led the Bearcats on that undefeated season 2 years ago, can be their franchise quarterback. They want to examine him, and there's no other way to do that. He did play last year in replacing Marcus Mariota, limited sample size, but it's not enough experience to determine whether or not Ridder can be their guy. Little bit of a weaker arm, not the athlete that Trey Lance is, but is a bona fide winner. Some similarities with leadership and winning, as well as some of the intangibles to a guy like Dak Prescott coming out of Mississippi State. And if he is not the guy, then Atlanta, with Arthur Smith, the former Titans offensive coordinator, they're going to be looking for a quarterback. They're desperate to hit on that position because they have a couple of win-now players on the offensive side of the football. Kyle Pitts, fantastic tight end. They drafted Bijan Robinson. And if Ridder ain't the guy, Taylor Heineke is more of a long-term backup. And then you have Logan Woodside as the Falcons' third-string quarterback. So at some point, maybe in a month or two, Trey Lance could make some semblance of sense, but not right now because Ridder is their QB1. Lance, like Ridder, very inexperienced. Lance, like Ridder, still a really young player. Lance actually just turned 23 years old back in May, and he's only started 4 games in his NFL career, 21 combined games, going all the way back to 2019 at North Dakota State. And a big issue for Lance, while in the pros and in the preseason, with regular season and game experience, I should say, it's the lack of accuracy. Him missing consistent, easy layups. He's completed less than 55% of his passes. And ideally, the numbers would be a lot larger than they are right now for Lance, and he would have a lot more experience. But a couple of factors here. Garoppolo beat him out his rookie year. He is then tabbed the starter going into year 2. And then in game 2, after that monsoon against the Bears, he injures his ankle. And you look at the side-by-side numbers here. Again, Ridder with some more experience than Lance, even though last year was Ridder's rookie season. 63.5% on his throws, 708 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, as the Falcons really didn't have go-to wide receivers at that point. Drake London was injured a lot toward the back end of the year, former USC wide receiver, 64 rushing yards. He is not the runner that Lance is, but from a potential point of view, arm strength, height, weight, athleticism, Lance a more intriguing prospect. So maybe at some point, once again, the Falcons could show interest, but nothing to make of that report in my opinion. Just wanted to pass along the latest buzz here on Trey. This is why you subscribe, though. because whenever there's a big report out there, a juicy rumor, when breaking news happens, or if the Niners do make a trade, we have you covered right here on the show. It's the San Francisco 49ers Report, the largest independently run Niners channel on YouTube of north of 81,000 subscribers. We're shooting for that YouTube plaque. Join the faithful family and hit that sub button right now. The strengths and weaknesses of Lance as a quarterback, whether it's with the Niners or a different team. If San Francisco elects to move on, like the size, like the athleticism, 6'4", 225, does have a strong arm where he can hit that home run ball, mobile, and a good runner. He is not a great runner. He's a good runner. Been a little bit disappointing with the lack of high-end speed for Trey coming out of North Dakota State. I actually like his pocket feel and pocket mobility. I think he's displayed some ability there, and he's still only 23 years old. The negatives of Lance, both with the Niners and the acquiring team, if he gets dealt, lack of experience, has to hone in on the accuracy, layering throws to that second and third level, little bit of a problem. He's been banged up and injured in his first 2 years, finger injury, knee injury, ankle injury, and it's the wow plays weighing that versus the layups. He can throw that long ball, but can he throw a simple 10-yard out? And if he can't, it's tough to be a starter in this league. So let's look ahead here. This is today's poll question. Will Trey Lance be on the 49ers roster in Week 1? I want you to type SF for the San Francisco 49ers or O for a different team across the NFL. So you can check off this box with the Falcons being interested in Trey Lance on today's show. Coming up next, right around the corner, stay tuned, hang out with us, how a Quinnen Williams contract can impact a Nick Bosa deal. We're going to talk about that and unpack it here in just a moment. But first, speaking of Bosa, 18.5 sacks last year, he was balling out. If you want to clean up your balls, clean up your sack, and ball out, do so with Manscaped, because you'll be balling out in the bedroom with your significant other if you don't have a George W. Bush right below the waist. The Performance Package, absolutely awesome value here. You get the nose hair trimmer, you get the Lawnmower 4.0, which you can use down below on your chest, your back, or your face. You have the Crop Preserver and the ball deodorant, because I know here in Dallas, we're going to have like 5 straight days of well over 100 degrees. Going to get a little sweaty down there. You get the ball deodorant, not going to be stinky, not as sweaty. And the Manscaped Boxer Briefs, absolutely sensational as well. And then with the nose hair trimmer, how many times have you had a conversation with somebody and they have a really hairy nostril area, right? And you're like, I can't even help but look at that. It is incredible how hairy it is. You don't want that. It's a distraction, and it doesn't look good. You don't got to worry about all that. With Manscaped, join the 8 million men who have put their trust in the best men's grooming products. It's manscaped.com/49ers. Promo code 49ers for 20% off and free shipping. That link is hanging out in the comment section and in the description of this video. Let's get to this now. So Tom Pelissero, Ian Rappaport breaking some NFL news earlier on today that the Jets and All-Pro defensive tackle Quinnen Williams have agreed to terms on a 4-year, $96 million mega deal, the second largest contract ever for a defensive tackle. Right after that was Aaron Donald a couple of years ago. Williams gets $66 million in guaranteed money in the deal, which was negotiated by his agent Nicole Lynn, who also, she's been busy this offseason, negotiated that deal for Jalen Hurts. So she's doing a good job of getting her clients the bag. And here is the overall outlook of that Quinnen Williams deal. He gets the 4-year, $96 million in total, the guaranteed money checking in at $66 million, average annual value there at $24 million per. That puts him up there as the second highest paid defensive tackle in the sport, after Aaron Donald's average annual salary of $31.7 million. That Aaron Donald deal setting the baseline for these incoming Nick Bosa contract negotiations. Of note here as well, you have Quinnen Williams, younger player, emerging player for the Jets, and Robert Saleh making more money per year than Javon Hargrave, who's coming off a career best season, who landed that large contract with San Francisco, which will net him $21 million per year. And then, of course, DeForest Buckner, the former Niner great, who San Francisco should have never dealt. He's in there. And then Leonard Williams rounding that list out. Now, let's get to Nick Bosa here and explain how this all impacts Nick Bosa. How the Quinnen Williams new contract extension with the New York Jets might impact these Nick Bosa contract negotiations if Quinnen Williams, who is not the caliber of player of Nick Bosa, who's coming off Defensive Player of the Year honors, is getting $24 million per year. That only means that Bosa is going to wipe him out and make a lot more on his incoming contract. The Aaron Donald deal a couple of years ago really did set the foundation for what Bosa figures to get from San Francisco. 3-year deal, $95 million total, $31.5 million per year, $95 million guaranteed. I think Bosa's going to get more years. I'm saying about 5, and he's going to be between $32 and $35 million per season. My contract projection for Bosa back earlier this summer and last year was this: 5 years, 160, 32 average, 120 guaranteed. I actually think he might get even more than this and will not be surprised if he does just that. Why is that? Well, Nick Bosa, ladies and gentlemen, is still a young player. He is still tapping into his true potential, and he is still rounding into form, and he's coming off Defensive Player of the Year. 25 years old, back-to-back years, he's combined for 15.5 sacks and 18.5 sacks. I think he's the best pure pass rusher at defensive end in the NFL. He's not like a Micah Parsons or a Hassan Reddick, who sometimes is that stand-up pass rusher. He'll put his hand in the dirt, and he's going to get after the quarterback. And his Pro Football Focus numbers last year, just insane. And what I love about this, the 508 pass rush snaps, 90 total pressures. So almost 1 in every 5 pass rush snaps for Nick Bosa, he's providing the defense with a pressure on the quarterback. 30 quarterback hits, 39 stops, 90.9 overall grade, run defense grade at 81.1, and a pass rush grade of 90.9. One of the most dominant players in the NFL. He's going to continue to be if he continues to stay healthy, and that's why when he does get paid, he's going to be the highest paid player on the defensive side of the football in the history of the NFL. So how much will Nick Bosa get per year? I'm saying between 32 and 35. What do you think? Give me a number down below. Appreciate y'all for watching. San Francisco. Hit that subscribe button.